Alright, so we have reached our final lesson of the year. Hopefully by this point you have turned in those 5 homework problems. Again, that's going to be counted as a quiz score. So hopefully you took your time on that and you did well, so that way you can kind of end this year on a strong note. Next class, we will have a quiz over this thing of notes, logarithms, and it will be an actual quiz where you'll have, per usual, quiz posted. You have about 10 minutes to turn in and so forth. So hopefully this goes well for you and we don't have any issues. Before we get too far into this, understand I am just barely scratching the surface with logs. Next year in Algebra 3 or College Algebra, you'll get a lot further in it, but I at least want to get you an intro into it so that way when you see logs next year, you'll have a little bit of a knowledge base of it, so that way it will help you get started in the process of it. So logs or logarithms, the definition of logs is log, this sub b right here, we call that base b, so log base b of x, so log base b of x equals y if and only if b to the y equals x. Alright, so notice the connections here. My b's are here, my y's are there, and my x's are there. Yes, that's the same x. Yes, that's the same b. Yes, it's the same y. Alright? Logarithm form is log base of answer equals exponent. Alright, so log base of answer equals exponent. And so exponential form is base to the exponent equals answer. This is how we're used to seeing it. Alright? Such as like 2 to the third equals 8. My base is 2, my exponent is 3, well my answer of that is 8. Alright, we're used to seeing it that way. Now we're seeing it the other way where we have log base of answer equals exponent. Alright, so we're going to write an equation that's in log form in exponential form. Alright, so I've got log base 2 of 8 equals 3. Alright, so my base, so again, just kind of writing this out, log base answer equals exponent. Alright, again, base answers exponent. Some people like to remember bay, B-A-E. My bay, that's an easy way to kind of remember this process. So, if I want to write this in exponential form, my base is 2, my exponent is to the right of the equal sign, which is 3, and my answer is 8. So, there's my exponential form. How about moving down here? Log base 4 of 1 over 256 equals negative 4. So my base is 4. My exponent, again, is to the right of the equal sign, so negative 4 equals 1 over 256. Alright, let's go the other way now. So now I have my exponential form, and I got to write it as a log form. So again, this is base to exponent equals my answer. Well, if I want to write this in log form, I need it to be log base, so bay, next is answer, equals exponent. So when I write this answer, it should be log, my base is 15, my answer is 3,375, and that should equal my exponent of 3. So there's my answer there. Going on to the next one. Again, log, next comes my base, so 4, my answer of 2, and my exponent of 1/2. Alright, so there's my answer there. So that's going from log form to exponential form and exponential to log form. That's one of the main things we're going to try to work through here. So hopefully that's pretty straightforward. It's just remembering bay, basically. Base, answer, exponent, and your life becomes pretty easy. So now we're going to talk about solving logarithm equations. And again, I'm just going to scratch the surface on this. Lord knows it can get a lot harder, and it will. Not this year, obviously, because this is our last lesson. But it will, and you guys will make it through, but this will help you at least get started in it. So I got log base 5 of 25, and we need to solve them. So we're going to set this equal to x, so that way it looks like a solving problem. Because when we solve, we need an equal sign to solve for something. So if that's the case, that means we're going to write this in exponential form first. So write in exponential. So I've got 5 to the x equals 25, because my base is 5, my exponent is x, and my answer is 25. Well, this one hopefully is pretty straightforward. We can just look at it and say, okay, 5 to what number gives me 25? Well, that would be 5 to the second equals 25. All right, so my answer here is obviously x equals 2. The other way you can learn to do this is, okay, I've got 5 to the x equals 25. And you're going to find out in mathematics, if you don't know it already, if our bases are the same, our exponents have to be equal. And so what I mean there is I can rewrite this 25. 25 can be written as 5 to the second. Well, if all I have on the left is 5 to the x, and all I have on the right is 5 to the second, my bases are the same, so then therefore my exponents should be equal. Therefore, x equals 2. All right. Now let's look at this one. So I left it already up there. I wrote it in exponential form. 3 to the x equals 1/9. Again, I can write this 1/9 in the same base as my left side. So I've got 3 to the x is going to stay the same. Well, if you remember, how do we get something down to the numerator? We talked about with negative exponents. If I have x to the negative first, that is really 1 over x. It's just negative exponents just tell you to move to the bottom. So this 1 over 9 is really like saying 1 over 3 squared, which is the exact same thing as saying 3 to the negative second. Because I'm in the bottom at 3 squared, well, I can move it to the top and make it 3 to the negative second. All right? So let's do another one, because I know kids kind of struggle with the fractional part of it. So, example, I've got log 4 164 equals x. Alright, so I've got log base 4 of 164 equals x. So I'm going to rewrite this in exponential form first. 4 to the x equals 1 over 64. Alright, the easiest way for right now to think about it is when you have something equaling a fraction, so you got 1 in your numerator, you know it has to be a negative exponent because we've moved it down to the bottom, and that's why we got a 1 in the top. 4 to what power gives me 64? Well, that would be 4 to the third. All right, so if I want to move that 4 to the third up top, I would have 4 to the x equals 4 to the negative third. Again, my bases are the same, so therefore my answer should be x equals negative 3 because my exponents have to be equal. All right, and then finishing it off, 8 to the x equals 512. 8 to the x equals, so I want my bases to be the same, so 8 to what power is 512? That would be 3, so therefore my answer is x equals 3. All right. Next up, we're going to solve these by the calculator. And the reason why we're going to solve these by the calculator, not the first ones, are if I have log base 4 of 3 equals x, and I try to write that out, so my base is 4, my exponent is x, and I have to make it equal 3. Well, 4 is not going to go into 3 evenly, because 4 to the first is 4, 4 to the 0 is 1, so there's no way I can make it to be 3. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our calculator to solve these. All right. And so I have, I'm going to draw this little line here. All right. Notice that when I look at that line, 3 is above that line and 4 is below that line. All right. So I'm going to rewrite this as log 3 over log 4. All right, because 3 is above, so it gets written up top. 4 is below, it gets written down below. And if you notice on your calculator, right below, so again, if you don't have your calculator out, go ahead and grab it. Right below the x squared on the left side, or right next to 7, there's a log button. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit the log button. And so a log should appear on your screen with open parentheses. You're going to type 3, close the parentheses. So it should say right now, log, open parentheses, 3, close parentheses, hit the divide sign, hit log again, type in 4, close parentheses. So right now on your calculator, it should look like this. Alright, and when you hit enter, you should get an answer something like 1.14. My calculator is completely dead, so I don't have it on me, but I think it's 1.14. Alright, going on to the next one. Log 3 base 3 of 5. So again, if I draw that line, 5 is up top, so therefore it goes in my numerator. 3 is down below, therefore it goes in my denominator. When I type that into my calculator, I think, if I remember right, it's something like 1.52 or something like that. All right. So go ahead and try that. Okay, if you don't get 1.52, that's easily could be right. My calculator is completely dead, and I left my charger at school, so I haven't been able to get it. But that should hopefully help you out. Everything on the quiz, though, just giving you a heads up, is going to come from here. Up. Alright, so you should not need to use your calculator at all. You're going to show me how to solve these logs by hand. You're also going to show me how to go from exponential form to log form, and how to go from log to exponential form. Alright, hopefully it should be a pretty easy section and a nice grade booster to end the year. Your homework is here. 7.3, 1 through 7, 15 through 27 odd, which should be shown down below at the notes. So if you don't have your book available still, you can still work on those problems. Please let me know if you have any questions. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you all on Tuesday.